Let's talk about God of War. Sony's premier action-adventure title God of War has finally made its way onto PC, delivering an over-the-top action, flowing combat and great visuals that made the 2018 PlayStation 4 release so impressive. Being a hardcore fan of the franchise, I didn't like the transition of the game from Greek to Norse mythology. However, still this game somehow managed to reboot the franchise by streamlining the action and controls while introducing a fascinating Norse setting and mythology. Being a broke PC gamer, I can't afford to buy a PS4, PS5 or even a high-end gaming PC to play this game. So I was waiting eagerly for this game to get released for PC since its announcement, so that I could try my luck with this game on my potato PC. And finally, the wait was over and this game came out for PC last month. This PC version doesn't offer anything new as compared to the console release, but it has a higher graphical setting suite that takes advantage of your PC's strengths. The visual options are nice additions, however, at the cost of compatibility issues with older low-end hardware and the game suffering from ultra-low frame rates on older low-end hardware. Welcome folks to the 6th episode of Gaming Discussions. In this episode, we will talk about the performance of God of War on older lower-end gaming hardware, so stay tuned. Before we start, it will be nice if you guys give this video a like and hit the subscribe button to never miss any future updates from this channel. I'm trying really hard to hit the 4000 subscribers mark, so I would really appreciate a like and a subscribe from you people. Enough chit chat, let's get back to the video. So as I mentioned in the introductory part, the compatibility issues of this game. Let's talk about them and how these issues could be an end of latest AAA games on older low-end hardware. The major root of problem here is a specific version of DirectX. All the games in Windows run on DirectX. Here I will not actually get into the details of what DirectX is and how it works due to the time constraints. For now, keep it as a hardware acceleration application which the games use to take benefit from your computer hardware. There are different versions of DirectX starting from DirectX 9. Older games from 2010 to 2012 took advantage of DirectX 9 and DirectX 10 versions. Games made after 2015 started to run on DirectX 11. Most of the older hardware from 2010 onwards supports up to DirectX 11 versions. DirectX 12 was introduced with Windows 10 back in 2015. Most of the AAA titles made after 2017 started to use DirectX version 12, and that's where the older legacy hardware started to show problems with the latest AAA titles. Due to the incompatibility of these older hardware with DirectX 12, the newer games either crash straightforward or show some random bugs in-game. Luckily, most of the games can be fixed with this issue. If you are a long-term subscriber of the channel, then you might have checked some of my videos covering these fixes. But sadly, that's not the case with this game. Out of the box, if you try to run this game without any fix, it straightforward shows an error that DirectX version 12 is required to run the game. After trying to find a fix online, I came across some of the videos recommending to download some patch files and copy them into the game folder. But still, after applying the fix, when I tried to run the game, it still crashes. So it became clear that this game is not going to work on the hardware that is not compatible with DirectX 12. And that might be an end of latest AAA games on older hardware. This is not the only game that didn't ended up working due to the lack of DirectX 12 support. Resident Evil Village that came out last year also didn't ended up working in my system due to lack of DirectX 12 support. You can check out the coverage of that game from here. All of my hope was not lost however. I tried to run the game on another low-end laptop with an Nvidia 920M graphics card which support DirectX 12. The game loaded but the FPS was too low and the game took forever to load. I was welcomed at the main menu screen at a whopping 3 frames per second. Fine, I thought. I would try to fix the game myself. When I went to settings, I found the dumbest of the drawbacks of this game. It doesn't support full screen as you are forced to either run the game in windowed mode or a borderless mode. Here, the borderless mode fixes the screen resolution to full resolution of your monitor. Even worse, when you try to run the game in windowed mode and you try to reduce the resolution, the actual game window becomes too tiny to see anything. Luckily, the game provides with the resolution scaler, which didn't ended up providing enough performance boost for this game to make it playable. There was also an option of Fidelity FX Super Resolution, turning on which resulted in extra 2 to 4 frames boost. On the graphics section of the settings, this game provides 4 graphics presets, that is low, original, high and ultra, and an additional custom option to change the individual graphics options. I immediately turned the settings to the low preset and tested the game, and the results were amazing. You can have a look yourself. So till now it might have become clear to you people that this game is not meant for older low-end hardware. If you take a look at the minimum recommended specifications of this game, it recommends a quad-core processor paired with at least 8 GB of RAM and a GTX 960 to play at least 30 frames per second on 720p. These specs by any means are not low-end at all. Somehow, some users tried this game on AMD Ryzen APUs and it actually performed quite decently. On Ryzen 7 APU, it managed to run at 30 frames per second rate. Even an AMD Athlon APU, which is actually cheaper than the game itself, managed to run the game between 20 and 30 frames per second. However, Intel users still have a hard time running this game as the game struggles to manage a playable frame rate even on the computers running latest Intel Iris graphics. I hate to admit, but in my opinion, it's a big no, for older lower end hardware at least. I tried my best to make this game run well. Being a native PS4 game, it was never meant to be played on the older lower end hardware which does not support DirectX 12. So what about the hardware that supports DirectX 12? Well, it's a 50-50 situation. Some gaming setups including Nvidia GT 1030 on desktops and equivalently Nvidia MX450 cards on laptops manage to run this game well at lower resolutions at least 30 frames per second rate. But conversely, on the other hand, some setups including older Nvidia 920M or 920MX cards can't even manage to get a playable FPS. And the same is the story for Intel SD and Intel Iris graphics. If you are a desktop user, then the time has arrived to give it some upgrades. It might be a great idea to get a graphics card, a GT 1030 at least, if you still use Intel SD graphics. Purchasing a notebook with MX450 on the other hand might not be a great idea for gaming, because everyone knows that those notebooks don't come cheap and MX450 is not that good for gaming. You can get a decent gaming laptop in that price. However, if you already have that notebook and you want to give this game a try, then you can go for it. In the worst case, if you are a legacy laptop user on the lower end, then I'm afraid you can't play this game due to the lack of upgrades. Because as you may know that the processor and the graphics chip of the laptops are soldered to their motherboards. Exception here is for the users of the laptops which are powered by AMD APUs using Vega graphics. When it comes to gaming, AMD APUs always gets an upper hand. So what have we learned from this video? This game has forced its doors shut on the older lower end hardware. Only purchase or download this game if you have a capable gaming hardware to run this game. If you are a desktop user, then it might not be a bad idea to get yourself at least Nvidia GT 1030 graphics card if it is available for affordable price in your area. If you are still willing to play this game, then it might not be a better idea to buy a used console itself than to build a PC with the newer parts in this crisis when the prices of the components are so high. Buying a last gen PS4 console from used market might be cheaper than to build a new PC to play this game. That's all for today. Hope you guys liked the video. If you did, then remember to leave a like and hit that subscribe button to never miss any future updates from this channel. Help me reach 4000 subscribers and this video to a minimum of 50 likes. I will catch you guys later here in the next episode of Gaming Discussions. Thanks for watching. I'm signing off.